Chez, a new right-wing party in Belgium, is attempting to challenge the left-wing status quo. And despite a mainstream media boycott against them, they have secured great success in social media. I'm here with Jérôme Meunier, founder and chairman of Chez. Welcome to Rix Europe.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
For us as well. So this new right-wing party, can you tell us about it, Chez?
Yeah, Chez. So we founded a party like 2.5 years ago in November 2021. And we founded the party, the launching of the party was with Tom van Grieken, so the chairman of Vlaams Belang, the biggest party now in Flanders, and with Jordan Bardella, so the chairman of Rassemblement National, also the biggest party in France. So we immediately got supported by those two parties. And we created this party because there was a lack of a right-wing, conservative, patriotic party here in Wallonia, so French-speaking part of Belgium, because we are the only region where this kind of party in Europe didn't exist. I think you had also Portugal a couple of years ago, but now with Chega, this gap is filled. But in Wallonia, there wasn't a conservative or patriotic party. And you see all around the world and in Europe that those kind of parties get like 40, 50% of the votes. If you count like Zemmour, Marine Le Pen in France, you get like 50% of people who vote for this kind of party. It's the same in Flanders. And in Belgium, there wasn't even an opportunity for a French-speaking person to vote for this kind of party. So that's why we created this, and that's why we're participating at our first elections. And the most important one, because in Belgium, we've got elections every 5 years. So now we've got in June the regional, the federal, and the European elections on the same dates. So for us, it's really important to be successful in the 9th of June. So it's quite an interesting period for us.
And I understand that you've met quite a lot of resistance from mainstream media. They've urged people to boycott the party. Is this true, and what effect has it had?
Well, for us, to give you an example, it's impossible for us to organize a meeting, a gathering. It's impossible because it's always forbidden by the mayors. All the mayors in Wallonia are socialists. And so for us, it's impossible, even if it's in a private place, to organize a gathering. So we don't do meetings anymore. So you've got this boycott by the mayors, and you've got also the boycott by the media. So this kind of interview that I do with you today, it's impossible to do it in Wallonia. We don't get invited by mainstream media because we are, as you know, considered for the mainstream media as extreme right, anti-democratic, fascists, and so on. And so I never got an interview. They talk a little about us, but to marginalize us and to call us like anti-democratic and dangerous. So it's quite difficult, and we live in a socialist place with a 30% rate of unemployment, with a deficit. I think our budget is worse than what was in Greece like a couple of years ago. So it's quite difficult for right-wing party to get successful in Wallonia. That's one of the reasons why our kind of party do not exist in Wallonia.
It's my understanding that you've gained quite a lot of attention on social media. Is this true? And what have you done differently?
Well, we are and that's quite strange. So we don't get invited by the media, but we are the most popular party, even with 3 years of existence and with kind of no money, because when you create a new party, you don't have state financing. So we don't have any money, but we put a lot of efforts on social media, and we're the most popular party, so with the most interactions. the most likes, shares, or comments on our posts on social media. What do we do differently? Well, we communicate directly, and I tell that at all the members of the party. You've got a cell phone, use it. Talk about how you feel, talk about the problems that you have in your city, in your region, and post it on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. And so we have a lot of different people that are participating in our communication. And so it's really interesting to see the reactions by the people, and they tell us like, finally we've got someone to vote for. We are there was like a kind of a relief from people that finally we have a right-wing party here in Wallonia. So I know that social media is one thing and votes are another thing, but I think it's a quite good indicator for what the people really think and really feel about it. So I hope it's going to be successful in June.
And just a few days ago, there were a lot of problems surrounding the Natcon conference. It faced a lot of resistance. Do you draw parallels to the resistance towards that conference, to the same resistance that your party has been facing?
Of course. I made a video, I think 2 days later, and telling that this was unbelievable, but it didn't surprise me, because we feel and we have the same problems like every day in Wallonia. The only difference is that in this gathering, this meeting, you had a prime minister invited. So you had Viktor Orban, you had Eric Zemmour, so he was a presidential candidate in France. You had Nigel Farage, also main political figure, and a mayor of Brussels decided like, no, not on my territory, and it was also in a private place. So the Natcon tried to find a place for this conference, and they get rejected by a lot of mayors, and they finally got a place. And during this event, the mayor sent his police, and is using his police as a private milice to interrupt and to stop this gathering. So it's unbelievable. But luckily for us, this got international news. So the Prime Minister of England talked about this. A lot of media talked about the fact that you have to respect freedom of speech. So it put Brussels and Belgium in a whole, like a place where freedom of speech isn't respected. And so I hope this meeting and the effects it's had will change things, and that we will have freedom of speech and the freedom to gather in Belgium. I hope it's going to change something, but I doubt it, because the Socialist Party is quite powerful here, and I don't think they're gonna listen even to the Prime Minister of England. But we'll see. The
more media covers the fact that there's been resistance, what kind of effect do you think that has on the people, on the public, in regards to democracy and freedom of speech? How can people interpret this?
Well, I think that it has the opposite effect than what the mayor wants. I think we gain power, like our kind of party gain power. I think it's publicity for Zemmour, for Viktor Orban, for Nigel Farage. Farage said like, I'm glad we left Brussels, we left the European Union, because that's what Brussels is about now, and you see it. So Brussels is a hellhole, and so it's reinforced actually the speech that we have, and that freedom of speech is in danger, not only in Brussels, but you see this everywhere in Europe. And I think June, with the European elections coming up, is going to be a turning point, because you see Rassemblement National, who has 1/3 of the votes. You see Meloni in Italy. You see the Swedish Democrats in Sweden. You see Vlaams Belang in Flanders. You see AfD in Germany. All those parties are going to win if the polls are right, are going to win the European elections. And so I think we're really at a turning point. And one of the reasons why those parties are gaining power is the lack of freedom and the treatment of the political system and the treatment of the media. And I think it's only good for us for a political point of view, but it's a shame for the people that have to live in such shaming democracy.
Thank you, Jérôme Meunier, founder and chairman of Chez Nous.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a while, but I'm glad I'm finally interviewed by someone here to talk about Chez Nous.
And thank you for watching Riks Europe.